This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, I am James Soper, the Interim Fire Chief for the Fire and Rescue Department. I'll be going over the FY21 proposed budget for the Fire and Rescue Department. The Fire and Rescue Department's presentation tonight will be an overview of the organizational overview, some principal challenges, which will include some personnel costs, the Fire and Rescue Operations Division, the response data, some community-focused events, FY21 budget highlights. So moving into the organizational overview, currently the fire department is staffed with 29 FTEs. There is 28 sworn and 1 civilian. Currently, as we operate, we have 1 vacant position, which is the deputy fire chief's position. That will be filled this spring in FY20. That will be an internal promotions, which will still leave us with an FTE count of 29. Some principal challenges encountered by the Fire and Rescue Department. We're still having high turnover rates, with about 25% of turnover in the fiscal years of FY19 and 20, without the ability to recruit certified replacement employees. One way to combat that is to work on a true retention plan for the city and the department. We also struggle with maintaining 24 FTEs in operations. With 24 FTEs, that gives us the minimal staffing we need every day. Without the minimal staffing every day, that results in a continuous usage of overtime, which will be seen later in the budget. We also face, as we talked about, the overtime cost. High turnover increases for overtime cost. Workers' comp and FMLA. We average per year 2 employees being out on some sort of long-term leave. Next is the insufficient staffing levels. We have a low admin level for staffing. 4-person engines are recommended by the NFPA 1710, which impacts our ISO rating for the city. At this current time, we do not meet that. We only meet a 3-person minimal staffing per day. We also are faced for some CIP restrictions. Vehicle replacement. Currently, we do not have a ladder truck that was sold back in 2015. And fire station maintenance is also an issue. Personnel actually live in the fire station 24/7. The station maintenance has improved since the arrival of our facilities maintenance manager, Mr. Kenny Woodson. But we still have a lot of work that needs to be done and addressed throughout the CIP. Moving into some departmental salary costs, as we break down each position. The firefighter EMT has the projected base salary of $49,155, and as you add in all the other benefits, and then equipment, and then the annual medical physicals that we're required to take by the NFPA, the total projected cost for a firefighter EMT is $78,576. When you move into the firefighter paramedic, which we drastically need, that's our low point in the department. We struggle with recruiting this position. We just cannot find certified paramedics in the region. The projected salary for that employee is $58,192. And then you see all the benefit costs that go along with that, along with the annual medical physicals, to a total cost of $89,316. So trying to fix our retention. We know that all of our employees have the ability to move on to other departments within the region, knowing that they make more money than what we currently make. So as bad as we want the salaries fixed today, we do understand the financial issue that the city's in with the debt ceiling, and also the huge impact that the COVID-19 has left on the city. So our plan is to continue to show loyalty to the city and patience, and hope that this salary thing gets resolved very soon. Moving into the operations division, we will staff 3 pieces of apparatus out of our station daily. The first being the emergency medical services, which is our medic unit. This unit is staffed with 2 people daily. One is a firefighter EMT as the driver, and the other would be the firefighter paramedic as the lead attendant. Also, we will have fire suppression staff every day. We do have the ability right now with the captains that we have promoted to ride a paramedic engine every day, with a minimal staffing of 3. NFPA 1710 again reminds us that a safe, effective staffing of 4 people is truly recommended every day. So with our minimum of 3, we ride with a captain, a firefighter EMT as the operator, and then a firefighter paramedic or another firefighter EMT as the person in the jump seat. We also staff in the emergency incident command vehicle, which is staffed by our battalion chief daily. This vehicle will serve as the unified command post should we have to set up a unified command post with our partners in public safety, the police department. The one thing we are missing from our fire suppression response is the inability to have ladder services, which we rely on Manassas City and Prince William County for that. As we move into the fire and EMS total responses for calendar year 19, you can see that through 2016 through 2019, the numbers were falling. So far in 2020, the first quarter, we're showing 486. If we do that over the course of the year, we're going to end up with 1944 for the year 2020, which would be a slight increase from calendar year 2019. Moving into the call data types, the fire response calls for 2019 were 239. EMS responses was 1312. Hazardous conditions calls, which were new fires, which would be a 54. Service calls, which is 92. False alarm, false calls, 53. Good intent calls, 163. And special was 3. As we see on the screen, the biggest one is EMS calls for service, which is 1312. As we move into our community focused services, this is something that the department really enjoys doing. It allows us to stay engaged with our community. Just looking at some of the pictures on the screen, they include some of the things we do as far as open house, preparedness fair, some training with the local businesses on fire extinguisher classes. We also do the annual standard run every year for the city. We're going to do in 2020 our first Fire Citizens Academy, which was postponed because of the COVID-19 virus. And we also do an annual youth fire camp in July or August every year. As we move into some of the FY20 proposed budget numbers, looking at the revenue first, we'll see a drop from FY21 versus FY20 in the fire marshal permits. This is basically a decrease from the projections of when we started the inspection program in FY20. With doing a whole year in FY20, we got a realistic number in FY21. So 55,000 is truly a realistic number from the fire marshal's office. The next one we see a decrease in is the EMS cost recovery. This can be contributed to the reduced call volume outside of the city of Manassas Park. Our neighbors in Manassas and Prince William have added additional personnel and additional fleet for EMS calls, which has limited our call volume out of the city, which is restricting our funds coming in from EMS cost recovery. So there is a slight decrease in FY21 from FY20. As we move into the fire and rescue expenditure line items for FY21, the biggest one that jumps out on the screen would be the salaries and the benefits. That is where the biggest increase comes in the FY21 budget, which I know has already been addressed by the city manager. There is also a slight increase as well in the professional services line. That can be contributed to a salary increase for the operational medical director that the fire department operates under. Moving on to the next page, we can see that the maintenance service contracts in FY20 was 85,000. It has been reduced to 81,763 in FY21. So that will be a savings within the budget. Also, there's a decrease in the fire marshal permit expenses. And then in uniforms, there was a slight increase. We went back to what we were budgeted for in FY19. And then there were slight increases which were in the 4 for Life funds and the ATL funds. And those are state grant funds, so we don't control the money we get from there. That's based off of fire insurance and car decals. So there's a slight increase in the budget from FY20 to FY21 of 126,689. And again, the majority of the increase in this budget comes from overtime, salary, and benefits. The remainder of the budget line stayed flat. As we recap the year FY20, this just shows some highlights of the training events that our crews took place in, as well as some award ceremonies. They did receive awards from the Prince William County Chamber of Commerce. So thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and we will get you the answer as soon as possible. Thank you.